we are moving into what is the metadata, what is the purpose of metadata, and how many dimensions that we are using to create the metadata. Apart from the dimensions, do we have any other parameters that we need to fill in the metadata? So in previous this Hyperion this BI technologies, we are calling them as MDBMS systems, multi-dimensional database management systems. Whereas in previous we have RDBMS systems are there, relational database management systems. Whereas Oracle, SQL, DB2, these are all relational database where you can maintain the data in terms of rows and columns. If you want to say any data like $500 or $600 or something else, you can say simply sales 2050. You can say simply relational database, like rows and columns intersection that you are representing one data value. But whereas in MDBMS systems, you need to represent multiple dimensional members from each dimension to say about a particular data value. That's what we are calling them as multi-dimensional database systems. And here you can't say the data value in the intersection of in the intersection of relational database in rows and columns. You need to tell about multiple members, and you need to say one data value. Say, let us example here, sales 2015 January, actual scenario, US century, USD currency. These are all we are calling them as page dimension members, and this is rows and columns that you need to tell about the data. This information we are giving the value of 500 over here. So if you would like to say, you need to change the intersections and you need to tell about the value. So here I am saying from so many members, I am saying to represent one data value. This information we are calling them as metadata, and this information we are calling them as data. So here you are saying US, but each member is having their significance. Like US is saying we are calling them as entry dimension. January in the January, February and periods, that information it will be storing in the dimension of period. Actual, this information will be storing in the in the dimension of scenario dimension. So USD value dimension, 2015 year dimension, sales in the sense account dimension. So from each dimension member, you need to select one member to represent the one data value, which is need to be valid. So you need to make the valid intersection, and you need to say about the data value. That's where we are calling them as multi-dimensional database management systems. So for this purpose, yesterday we have created just simply application profile, which is having the information about year, period and view. We need to see about the rest of the dimensions and what are the properties that it has, and why, how we are going to use them in our HFM application, that we can see. So go to financial management, the client, and manage metadata. So here the thing is the metadata, like in SBase. Who knows SBase? The outline is nothing but metadata here itself also in HFM. So metadata, if you want to create any metadata or if you want to view the metadata, you have to come into this the client, Windows client, and you need to open the file, and you can check the hierarchy structure, and you need to check the properties of the dimension members also as well. Okay, so here the thing is, just I would like to take one of the example sample file that I am taking here. And to create the metadata, how many ways that we can create the metadata? Here we have 3 ways that we can manage metadata to build that hierarchy structure. One is through web client, this the client that you can create the metadata file. If you want to go for the new one, you can create you need to first define the custom dimensions first. Because of in previous version we don't need to create the custom dimensions, because of by default we will have 4 custom dimensions in 11.113 version, up to 11.113 version. But from 11.123 version onwards, first of all you have to define your custom dimension. Thereafter only you can create your metadata properties. So just I am taking here, as I am saying as customers, here I am saying about products. So these two custom dimensions will be displayed here. See, if you observe here, products, and I have created another one is customers. Now you can go and create your hierarchy structure here itself. So first of all, when you go to here, you need to edit customs and define your custom dimensions, how many custom dimensions that you need to have in your application. That information at the time of designing phase, you need to identify the specification and usability of your custom dimensions, and you need to define them while creating the metadata. It's a single time activity again. So the custom dimensions which you defined at the initial time, so that you can define the custom. Once you define the dimensions, you can't change them again and again, like in a maintenance phase. So here you need to create your hierarchy structure by using this property, like create net profit, hierarchy structure, everything that you need to define here itself. Gross profit, hierarchy structure that you need to define, sales, and need to create, if you want to go for the siblings, same level, you can create the cost of goods sold. But this is one way that you need to define the hierarchy structure by using the Windows client. This is one way. Another way is, you know that one, that is DRM. You need to use a data relationship management application which is being maintained independent, hierarchy structure, independently maintaining the all metadata, not only for HFM, S-based metadata, planning metadata, or any other metadata mappings, everything that you can maintain in a single application, that is called as DRM. This is one more way that you need to define the metadata. Another way is, Oracle will be providing to you that macro, will be providing the macro file, so that each sheet is having one of the dimensions, like here itself account, entity. Likewise, they are providing the sheets, and each sheet is having the properties. So once you get that one, you can you can give your information, total hierarchy structures and everything. Once you generate the file, it will be generating the metadata file for us. By using that one, you can create your metadata file, and you can use that metadata file and load into HFM application. This metadata file should be in the format of .xml or .app format. These two formats only will be supported while loading the metadata into HFM application. Apart from that, any other format, it is not going to be supported. Okay, it should be always .app or .xml format only. One thing. So first of all, you need to define your hierarchy structure. You have dimensions and everything. First of all, you need to design your hierarchy structure, how the roll-up values, how the granular level of the information that you need to show, or that you need to roll up the values, everything you need to define at the time of designing. Okay, so the thing is, say let us example, you need to take account dimension and entity dimension. Okay, here account dimension is like just in a vertical statement of account dimension. Say let us example, I am taking simple example of the account dimension, how we are representing. In business scenarios, the vertical statement of the business financial statements would be like this, like sales, cost of goods sold, gross profit, operating income, operating expenses, this is operating profit, and some expenses. I'm just giving EBT, tax, and net profit. This is the hierarchy structure. This is the statements that we need to prepare in a business scenario to prepare the financial statements. This financial statements is nothing but income statement. Okay, Here the structure, hierarchy structure, the statement should be like this. But how we can achieve this one in terms of our HFM application, how we can design this one? Here itself I am saying only 10 accounts or 15 accounts, but in real time we will have 8,000 accounts, 9,000 accounts. It's up to business volume. It's up to, depends on the volume of the business, how many members that they are maintaining in your source systems like EBS, SAP FICO, and what kind of chart of accounts that they are maintaining. So this information will be provided by the chart of accounts controllers, and this business admin people will get in touch with the EBS systems, and they will coordinate and they will provide the financial statements how they want to show in the public as well as internal stakeholders. So here how we can achieve this kind of things into HFM application. So if you observe here, gross profit, operating profit, EBT, net profit, these members are all derived members. Derived members. These are all derived members, and this information is nothing but input members. So these members are input members, and gross profit, these are all calculated members or derived members. So how, this data we are getting from your EBS systems, right? So this data is nothing but trial balance data. That simply we can call them as trial balance data. This data you are fetching from your EBS systems. So this data you are loading, and you are getting calculated your calculated values of gross profit and operating profit, which is available in your income statement. Okay. So now I am converting these statements into our HFM terminology. So what is the ultimate parent here itself? Net profit. Under that, what is the children of net profit? It's like EBT only, next calculated member. And next one is operating profit. And next one is gross profit. So next, what are the children for gross profit? Sales and cost of goods sold. So when you give the value, this is the data input level, we can load the data at base level only. This is the basic thumb rule that we need to know. Data always should be loaded at base level only. But sometimes it requires we can load at parent level, but which is not recommended. So you can always load the data at base level members only. So say for example you have loaded sales value of 100, and you have loaded cost of goods sold values of 50. So these two members data will be getting calculated into gross profit level. But simply I am saying it is going to be calculated into gross profit level. How it is going to be calculated at gross profit level? For that purpose, we have properties for each dimension members. So simply going back to the window, and each dimension member, here account dimension, I am in the account dimension. In account dimension we have the members. First of all you need to concentrate about the hierarchy structure, how it should be look like, and thereafter you need to see the properties of the dimension. So these are the attributes, we are calling them these attributes. So we need to know each and every attribute. Based on that, this member will be performing in the application. So likewise we have account, entity, scenario, every dimension is having their own set of attributes. First of all we need to know all these properties. Okay. So sales and cost of goods sold here itself, and the data will be calculated into gross profit level. So just gross profit need to be calculated to its sibling members. What are the members that need to be calculated? Operating income and operating expenses. Here itself gross profit need to be calculated with operating income and operating expenses. So this data will be getting calculated with the sibling members. Gross profit sibling members are operating income and operating expenses. These three members will be getting calculated and will be provided the value of operating profit. Again, operating profit need to be calculated its sibling. So you have the expenses member here itself. So these two members are getting calculated, will give the value of EBT. EBT looks for the tax member. So what is the sibling for the tax? You need to provide the tax, and these members calculated, and ultimately it will provide the ultimate calculated member of net profit. So this is the way that you need to define your hierarchy structure first based on the accounting hierarchy or accounting statements that you have. This information will be provided by the business. No need to worry about it, because of we are not going to construct, we are not going to design or build this hierarchy structures. Design. Business will provide that. We need to define or develop the hierarchy structures in our applications. Okay. So could you if you have any queries at that time, you can unmute. Please mute who doesn't want to raise any questions. Next, this is the hierarchy structure. First we need to define. Likewise, in entity dimension also, you can create the entity dimension hierarchy structure. Here you need to keep in mind like the consolidation hierarchy path, how you want to define your consolidation structure. Say for example, I am going to construct my consolidation path as legal hierarchy. Here in the legal hierarchy, I have US, UK, Australia. Likewise, I have the consolidation structure. So based on the consolidation structure only, the consolidation will be triggered. Because of we are not writing any queries or any coding over here, the consolidation will be done in entity dimension only. So consolidation takes place from entity dimension. So here we can have multiple consolidation structures also, not only single consolidation structure. Here I say legal structure. Thereafter I can go for Asia, Europe, that kind of thing of consolidation path that I need. Go for Asia, go for Europe consolidation path. Likewise also you can create the hierarchy structure. But similar as S-base, we can also having the primary member and shared member concept here also. So here you are having the members which are having under legal structure on primary dimension, primary hierarchy. Those members are all primary hierarchy members, primary members, where the data will be stored. And if you want to go for the Asia, you can simply share the member of India. This data will be rolled up into Asia level only. Simply what I am saying is here primary member and shared members concepts also we have. So you can use the primary members at the primary hierarchy structure. If you want to go for the alternate hierarchies, alternate consolidation levels that you have in the organization, you can simply share the primary members and you can achieve your alternate consolidations also. There is a point here itself. So similarly, you need to define all other dimensions also. First need to think about your hierarchy structures, and thereafter you need to think about your properties based on the requirement, how they want to show the data in the HFM applications. So hope you understand this up to here. Next, I am moving on to application. So once you created this metadata, once you created and save file this metadata into XML or .app format, then only you can load the metadata into HFM application. So first what I am doing is I am going to explain the properties, each and every properties here itself. I will explain the properties first. Thereafter, once I save this file and try to load the metadata into HFM application. Okay. Yesterday we have created the April HFM application. This is the application that we have created. So this application doesn't have any metadata so far. So you need to load the metadata into this HFM application. The navigation to load the metadata into HFM application would be load application elements. Because of these properties, this navigation will be differ from 11.113.500 and 11.121 up to 11.121. Because of 11.122 onwards, the UI has been changed. Everything moved from ASP pages to ADF pages. So now the application is working and running on Java web applications only. It's not on ASP pages, not on ASP pages. Okay. So everything, the framework and everything has been moved into JSP. So here, if you can observe here, index JSP pages. In previous, it was ASP. Okay. So the UI has been changed from 11.122 onwards. So the functionality and everything is same, but the thing is the UI has been changed. Go to load and application elements. Here itself we have multiple properties that we can load the artifacts into HF application. We are calling them, all these information we are calling them as artifacts. Security is one of the artifacts, metadata is one of the artifacts. Likewise, we can load the artifacts, different artifacts into HFM application. Now we are into the metadata setting. So once you created metadata from this application, from this file, or by using the DRM, or by using the macro file, whatever the concept that is, you can create the metadata based on your requirement, and you should have the file of metadata. Then only you can load that metadata file by using these properties. So here itself you need to take the metadata file and load the metadata into HF application. But the thumb rule, in real time, when you load the metadata, prior to loading the metadata, you should load the security file first. Otherwise you will get the error message. What are the error messages that we will have? I will explain later at the time of security part. By tomorrow or day after tomorrow, when we are going to discuss about the security, at that time I will give the information why we need to load the file security first and thereafter metadata. So you can't directly load the metadata into HFM application. First you need to load the security file and then you need to load the metadata file. This is the sequence that we need to follow for these two data file, for these two artifacts. Rest of them artifacts you can load in any sequence. It's not mandatory. You should follow the sequence. For these two files, you should have to maintain the sequence. For security, then metadata file. Now for today, just I'm going to give the explanation for scenario dimension. Okay, scenario better to go with entity dimension. I will give the explanation about the entity dimension, why we are using this entity dimension and its properties. First we need to check the properties. I will give detailed information about it, but you should understand the concepts why we are using these members. Because of once we created the metadata and loaded into HFM, will be loaded into HFM application. Thereafter we can see the changes, how these are going to be impacted on our HFM application later on also. Prior to that, I am giving some brief information about the members, each member what it does exactly. So okay, First entity dimension, you can create your hierarchy structure like legal structure or whatever the things that you need to maintain. You can define your legal structure, hierarchies and everything. But here the thing is, first you need to before going to create the main entity dimension, you should maintain value dimension also. Mean you need to define the currencies. First you need to define the currencies. Check the currencies proper currencies member and take the currencies. In currencies, first you need to define your currencies. By clicking on here, you can create the one row. Here, how many currencies that your business is using. So based on the ERP systems, you need to identify how many locations that the business is being operated. So based on that, you need to find total number of currencies that the application is being used. Those currencies you need to define in currencies tab. Create USD. You need to give description US dollar or something like that. Description and scaling. What is mean by scaling? Scaling in the sense, if you give the value as 0, the total value of absolute value will be stored in the database. Say for example, here I am giving 1 lakh, right? If I give 0 value, the data will be stored in the database directly 1 lakh. Okay, if I can give 1 and you have given the value of 10,000, okay, 10,000, the data will be stored in the database would be 1 lakh. If you can give the scaling of 2 and you are giving the value of 1000, the data will be stored into database would be 1 lakh. What I am trying to say here is the point 0 represents 0 represents absolute value, 1 represents tens, 2 represents hundreds, 3 represents thousands. Okay, so when you give the value as 3 scaling, if you can enter the 100 value, this value is nothing but 1 lakh value. Okay, this 3 trimming characters, 3 trimming numeric values, 3 zeros will be truncated and this value will be loaded into your database also. So when you give the scaling is 3, the data will be stored into the database as 1 lakh. But while showing to you, it will be showing in the front end as 100. Okay, that is about the scaling. And translation operator and display IC transactions we'll discuss later at the time of intercompany transactions, at the time of ICP module. Okay, so likewise you need to create the all currencies over here. What are the currencies that you have? First you need to create the currencies, then only you need to move on into your entity dimension. Here you have the tree view and list view. Tree view in the sense you can see the window like in a parent-child relationship. Here itself everything will be showing in a like list view in a Excel mode. I will show you that one also once we create here. Legal structure, and you need to give the default currency, it's a mandatory one, otherwise it will be giving the error message. USD, and here the point is you need to remember one more point here, default parent, which is having the ultimate parent and it doesn't have any parents beyond that. You need to give parent member for this kind of members as root. That means is the ultimate parent and it doesn't have any children. So the system will recognize from this dimension, this is the ultimate parent and it will be creating the children like ancestors, descendants, base members, parent, children, everything. These members groups will be created in the application while loading into HFM application. Thereafter you can give US from here onwards you can give the parent as legal, but the thing is, for the first member you should give the member as root. Okay, so now you need to first define the hierarchy structure, how you would like to roll up the values or consolidate the values into parent level. Thereafter you need to concentrate about your metadata members. Here first you need to give the label name. This is member name, is we are also calling them as label, and description you can give United States or something else, you need to give description. And default currency means the functional currency of the entity, because of this is the most important thing again, because of while loading the data into HFM application you need to get the data from your accounting entity in the sense your source systems is having the set of books, SOB. Who is this? Hello? Android attendee. Okay, fine. Okay, here itself SOB, set of books. These set of books are nothing but your source systems where the business is being operated. So each organization, each book is having, each accounting entity is having their own functional currency. So while loading the data into HFM application, you are getting the trial balance data from each location. Say for example, you are getting the UK trial balance data. This currency represents GBP. If you are getting the trial balance data of Australia, this data will be getting as AUD. And if you are getting the data from US, the data trial balance is nothing but USD, right? So likewise, if you are getting the IND trial balance data, nothing but your INR data. So likewise, we have multiple, what I can say, trial balances from each set of book. Each set of book is having their own functional currency. So the same thing, while creating the application, you need to give their local currency or functional currency. This is the synonyms. So local currency as functional currency that you need to represent as default currency, because of whatever the currency that you are giving here itself, that is only system can recognize. If you can say here you are giving your entity as US and you are giving default currency as INR, system can, if you load the data into HFM application even as USD dollars, but system can recognize INR only, because of you are saying your default currency is INR. Okay, so make sure at the time of giving the default currencies to particular entities. This is default currency. And another one is allow adjustments and allow adjustment from children. What is the use of these properties, these attributes? Means the thing is, you have loaded your trial balance data. I mean, like here I have the legal structure, and similarly what we decided in previous, UK, Australia, US, India. Likewise, you have loaded your trial balance data of sales. Say for example sales, and you have loaded data, everything is fine, $100 or 100 GBP or something else that you have loaded your trial balance data at the month of January or February, that you have loaded, everything is fine. But once you done the data loadings into HFM application, the EBS system has been modified for some of the data, right? Your source system has been modified, but this data also need to be reflected in your target application of HFM, right? So, but you are not going to delete this data, and you are not going to give $150 GBP here itself. This is not a good practice. So, but you should have the data of trial balance which you loaded, and you should need the modified data which is getting impacted on your source system, that need to be reflected or reclassified in your target application also as well. And I need to show that in a separate set like adjustment. And I would like to see these two, some of these trial balance and adjusted data, and I need to see the modified data over here. So for this purpose, you are having your trial balance data and you are having your adjustments data. So if you would like to do any adjustments, once you load the data loadings and everything, if you would like to go for any modification or any adjustments, for that purpose you need to use the properties of allow adjustments and allow adjustment from children. If the entities are having these properties are enabled, then only the system supports to modify the data by using the general concepts. Here we have the general concept here, but I will explain later on what is the general concept. But now you need to understand is allow adjustments and allow adjustment from children, both properties will be used to adjust the data where the entities are required to do the modifications. Okay, that point we need to remember. And is ICP. In first session we discussed like ICP and value dimensions are the system defined members, and we are not going to create them, right? So why this is member as system defined member? So entity hierarchy, that you are defining your hierarchy structure and everything is fine, but this member also may be using as intercompany member also. At that moment, just simply you need to use to enable each ICP. By enable this each ICP member, system automatically gets created the ICP dimension members. So you don't require to go and create the ICP dimension independently. That's what we are calling them ICP member as intercompany partner member as system defined member. Okay. Next one is security class. We'll discuss at the time of security. And user defined 1, 2, 3. This is the most important one, and we can use these user defined members across the dimensions, all the dimensions also. So what is the purpose of user defined 1, 2, 3? Say for example, here I am having different hierarchy structures and everything, but I want to group some of the members to apply my logic on that. Business rules in the sense some logic I need to apply only some set of entities or some set of accounts or some set of scenarios or some set of custom dimensions. Like it's a group of members for which only I need to apply my logic. I don't want to apply entire members. At that moment I would like to group the members. If you know the SBS, it's like a UDS. In SBS, what is the UDA concept that we have? The similar concept that it is here itself in user defined attributes. The same concept of UDA we are using user defined 1, 2, 3. So if you give the user defined member as UD1 as tax entities or tax accounts or any calculations that you want to apply, you need to define UD1. Say for example I have total 100 entities, out of which I need to apply only 10 entities need to be applied the tax logic. Okay, and rest of the them doesn't require, or they might be applied some other part of logic also. But how I can apply for these 10 entities the logic of tax? That means then you need to find those 10 entities, and those 10 entities need to be enable UD1 as tax. Say for example I will tell you entity 1 or entity 2 is there. Like you have total 10 entities and you have each member is having their own properties, right? So you need to define all UD1s as all UD1s as tags. Okay, so these members, out of 100 members, your 10 entities are having the UD1 as tags. At that moment, you need to use this UD1, and you can apply the logic in your business rules. Like as in business rules, we have the functions like hs dot entity dot UD1. UD1 of the file is equals to what I am saying is tags. Then that means if you are using the condition as if statement and you are saying like hs entity UD1, so the system what it does means it looks for the all hierarchy structures and all the members, verifying the members where the UD1 is having tags. So we tagged only 10 entities as tags. So it will be checking all the members information and calling the members which are having the UD1 as tags. Then you can apply the logic over under this statement. So you can give the statement over here under this condition. So this statement will be executed, right? So for this purpose, in account dimension is also we are having, and we have in scenario dimension, in across all dimensions we have the UD1 file. The main concept of UD is just you are grouping the members where you want to apply the logic. So basically for that purpose we are using the UDs. And next one is holding company. Holding company is ultimate parent company where you are holding the subsidiary company's information. Basically we are not using anywhere. If you would like to use, you can give the holding company as the holding company name over there. Security as partner, this will be also discussed at the time of security part. And default parent is only ultimate parent is having the assured, and rest of the members are having the default parent what it is having exactly. Okay, so this is about entity dimension properties, and we can see the rest of the dimensions. Like by tomorrow we can see the account dimension, because of it's the most important one, because of we have multiple types of account types, 10 types of account types, and we need to understand the custom dimensions also, because of these are always associated. As discussed in first class, custom dimensions are always associated with account dimension. What is the relationship between account dimension and custom dimensions? Yesterday I have explained, and we will go in a better way by tomorrow. And these are the most important properties. So by tomorrow you can make sure to attend by sharp 6 AM IST, so that we can discuss about attributes about the account dimension and custom dimensions. Okay, any queries, please let me know right now. Venkat and Edna, are you okay?
Yes.
Any queries? Can I wind up?
Not at the moment.
Yeah, Venkat, tell me.
Sure.
Anusha, do you have any questions? Can I wind up? Okay. Can I wind up?
Yep, sure, sir.
Sure. Okay. We'll see by tomorrow 6 AM.
Okay then. Thank you.
Yeah,
Have a nice day.
Yeah.